Hey guys, it's Shinobi here, and today I have a pretty, important video to talk about. So, I haven't really done much on my Shinobi Man character, which is the guy you see before you right now. And I'm recording this live, but I eventually do plan to have it better quality, but I'm just going to get this off my chest for now. So, forgive me if I stutter or speak out of place, I'm just a little distracted at the moment. But anyway, without further ado, let's go. So, who is Shinobi Man? Well, other than the character you see before you, he's a Marvel OC that I created. However, I do have a backup plan if he doesn't get in the MCU. I can just make him my own character. Well, he is my own character, but in a way that is unique to his own company. Of course, he'll still be owned by Shinobi Studios, but the fact is, I made this character because I really wanted someone to relate to, fiction-wise at least, and I think that if I do this, it will probably make a better impact of the person who I want to be, rather than who I actually am. Someone who is selfless, noble, heroic, and just honorable. And I'm not trying to say I'm nefarious or anything. I'm just saying I created this guy because I want to be him. He's who I want to be. But due to reality and other limitations, there's no way I can literally be him. For all we know, I can never be him. However, he is based off of me, which is something, but at the same time, I don't really think that really counts, even though he's based off me. I just don't know if I'll ever be great as him. For all I know, he will always be greater than me. And originally, he had a name that was different to what he had now, called Yukio Yamato. And Yukio Yamato was a name that I just jokingly came up with as I was making a fake Naruto spin-off, as a joke, of course. However, I want to make it very clear that I did not intend to rip off Naruto or anyone else. It's just I was making this character as a joke, but then I got way too into him. But the thing about him is he's a pretty noble and selfless character that I made for the sake of making him. And for the fact that I wish I was him, but reality can often be disappointed, as quoted from Thanos. And I know that he won't immediately get popular, but my hope is to have him at least popular as Homelander or Spider-Man. But don't get me wrong, I hate Homelander, and he is no good. Trust me when I say he is no good. But I should really have to explain that because it's self-explanatory. And Shinobi Man, he's as good as it comes with terms of morality. He always wants to do the right thing. He always wants to push people to do the right thing, and he has his standards, and he will never be evil. That is one thing that I hope never to even cross anyone's mind. And I do have a public domain edition of him, sort of like Thor, making him a Japanese mythology legend or something. But for all I know, people might not take him as seriously as they do with Thor, because Thor is a Marvel character that was rebranded, sorry about that. I can't even speak right. Rebranded from Marvel. And Thor is, as they would say, under public domain. And the rules for my public domain Shinobi Man are really simple. Just don't ruin him, and don't make him a laughing stock. But another reason why I created this guy is because I wanted to give people hope that they can be just like him. For example, if you can't be yourself, you can be who you want. Well, that didn't necessarily sound as good as it did in my head, but hopefully you get the picture. And the way I see it is everyone should have a chance to be who they are, and Shinobi Man is a prime example of that. And I will voice him and dub him in every single language, but there's no guarantee that he will be as popular as I planned for him to be. But beggars can't be choosers. However, though, Shinobi Man has gone through a lot of strife and sacrifice. In fact, he's suffered more than any character I could possibly create or imagine. Losing his parents in a shipwreck, being trained at a young age, and much more. But at the end of the day, he's a good guy, and he has never done a single thing wrong, making him also worthy of Mjolnir, the hammer that Thor wields. And Shinobi Man is a pretty complex character, if you ask me. At one moment, he can be his normal self, and at one moment, he can be Shinobi Man, sort of like Superman and Clark Kent. They're the same people. However, he's sort of like a ninja version of Superman, meaning that he will stand in terms of morality. And he's never really done anything nefarious, as I mentioned earlier. And I hope I'm not monologuing, but I just want to make it very clear that Shinobi Man is not the villain that a lot of people would mistake him for, if they do mistake him for one. But he is a true Starman, and I can confirm that because I am his creator. And he is more than just a project to me. He's a symbol of hope and ninjutsu. He trains with a lot of self-discipline, if I do say so myself. And the fact that he's always trying to better himself makes it another thing. And he knows that nothing is his fault, but he still blames himself for not being there. For example, the death of his parents. He was there, but he blames himself even though it wasn't his fault. And a lot of things have been going through him. I mean, he was raised by his grandfather, for God's sake, and he was eventually able to become an Avenger. And if he doesn't become an Avenger, at least I can assure you that he will be a superhero known as much as the Avengers. His current team is called Big Avenger X, which is Big Hero 6, which is Marvel, mind you, and it's the Avengers with the X-Force. So basically, my favorite Marvel teams shipped into one. And I'm glad that we basically did that because it will basically expand the MCU, or MAU, Marvel Animated Universe, if I'm making sense. But the truest thing about Shinobi Man is his commitment to others, his selflessness, and he's always willing to do the right thing. For example, if there's someone who needs his seat more than him, he's more than willing to give it up, regardless of how much pain he would be in, which he can barely feel any. But the good thing about him is he will always be there for you. And as for villains as they come, he cares about his villains the way that Batman cares about Joker in a way, promising never to kill them so that way they don't stoop to each other's levels. But he is many things, and the Hand of Justice will always be who he is. However, I don't claim to be him because I am no place to even be him. Though I would love to be him, it's just not really possible because he's him. He's just a character based off of me, a character that I voice, and a part of a fan-made multiverse. And even if he never becomes an Avenger, he will still be a well-known superhero. And he will have a lot of time to develop over his adventures and much more. Trust me, I couldn't make him any better for him if I wanted to. And that's not me trying to brag about it. I'm just saying I made him so good that he might not even have room for improvement because he's that good. But who am I to say anything else? Because I'm not the guy. I'm just based off of the guy, and I voice him. And as for his costume design, it actually took a long time for me to make. I had to go through different patterns and stuff, and I was like, some of these patterns are just way too simple. And I was like, hey, why not black and white? It's a pattern that almost never gets used, from my understanding. But the good thing about him is the fact that his costume actually makes sense. And I made him completely covered. And, well, the skin that you see right here is just part of him. It's basically his shadow. And let's just say that it's good that he's completely covered and disguised. Because now, any kid who wants to be him or looks up to him can be him because no part of his skin color ever shows. Like, he could be literally anyone under that suit, and you would never even know. And that was done unpurposely at first. Well, actually, accidentally at first, I would say, because I did it in a Marvel game where I was like, I need a design that could get me there until I'm finally ready. And then I was like, well, how about this? But the main deal that I have to say about his design is that it was sort of a last minute decision that I put a lot of time and effort to, even though it was last minute. And yes, I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it took a while for me to finalize his design, is what I'm trying to say. And he is a living shadow. He's not even human. However, he does save humanity, even though there's a term calling humanity evil. However, he will never be backed down, and he will never be bested either. And let's just say he's the real deal. But yeah, that's all I can really say about him at the moment, and I wish I could tell you guys more, but this was all recorded, well, no, streamed live, and I just don't, I just hope I wasn't monologuing a lot. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like. And remember,